Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme. Looking at the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see. Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch. I got 2 books available right now. Words Are Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15, so it's kind of like the middle school and high school age range, but adults can read it as well. Welcome to another episode of Words Are Worth, and this is going to be a special episode for me because I'm a fan of this man here. He's dope. I'm listening to the music, so one of the illest things about it is you see him battle rap, but the music, I'm like, yo, this music should be very like big. Yo, you make some big songs on here, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank
I'm
you,
checking it out. He's an ill lyricist from the battle rap phase of things, but also an ill lyricist on a record, rapping and making songs. So a lot of times you don't have that duality in an artist, and he's able to do both. I'm gonna talk about all the accolades as we go through the interview, but this is one of the dopest rappers, hip hop artists that you could watch perform, listen to, and just comes up with some of the most creative bars that you could ever think of. And that's why I consistently watch him battling, because the bars that he comes up with and can create is what motivates me to go the extra step. So my mindset of writing is, okay, what would Real Deal say? What would maybe a Rum Nitty say? What would a Nas say? What would G-Rap say? So he's one of those people that makes you want to go, there is another way out there. There is another combination of bars and lyrics. So welcome to this stage and to the show, none other than Real Deal.
My dog, man, humbled, absolutely humbled. Like I told you before, just getting out of high school, my man put me down with you, and I ordered I still have the physical copy of the album that had the 12 Months song on it.
Oh yeah, Mirror Music.
Oh yeah, man. And I remember how I had to order it, because this is like it wasn't pre-internet, obviously. Like the internet was out, but it wasn't. Everything wasn't as accessible. And I remember I got like a bonus disc with it.
Yeah.
And, man, as a lyricist early on, man, inspired me greatly. Mind-blowing stuff. So that means the most to me, big dog. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. That's why I love watching you, perform, because I'm always interested in hearing the combination. Being a lyricist such as yourself, we're gonna get into a lot of this stuff, but like you just know what it takes, man. Like we hear people rap, but we also know there's a level to that line being better. We know what I'm saying. There's a level to these bars being better, and quality control. That's the thing. Like you understand quality control from a higher level. So that's what we're gonna delve into. Let's talk about the project, man. The Statute Volume 2,
My dog.
I was listening to it, and Pounding the Pavement, big record, man.
Thank you, brother.
Big record. Like that's what I was saying. Like listening to the songs, I was like, yo, these are like big songs, man. These aren't like, all right, so you can make an underground album, or you can make an album and have songs that sound underground or boom bapish or whatever. There's these styles, as we all know, the genres. But listening to your music, man, I was like, yo, this guy really should be like a big commercial artist.
I appreciate you, bro, man. Yeah,
tell me about the project. And you also got Bubba Sparks on there.
Yeah, that was yeah, man. So I which I'm sure we'll delve into later, after my pops, the situation with my dad.
Yeah,
I began to release I guess volumes called The Statute, and the idea is to remind people that we're trying to change the statute for medical malpractice. So Statute 1 had come out, and then I put a lot into this album financially, and you could probably vouch, teachers, we don't exactly break bank out here, you know what I mean? So a lot of these teacher salary stuff was put into it. Yeah, I was able to get Bubba Sparks on the record, man, which was really, really he's one of my favorite artists ever. Apathy. And I
Yeah.
got production from like Pittsburgh legends, bro. Like Big Germ, who made a lot of Wiz and Max stuff. Ricky P, same thing, made a lot of Wiz and Max stuff. And as I advance as an artist, man, I really like to try to do different things and use different genres on my record. So that Pounding
Yeah.
Pavement, I love my man Douglas David's voice, country voice. I put, I put
Country.
that on there. And I learned that from Mac years ago, which is crazy because I'm like 7 years older than Mac. But I always tell the story, we used to come up in a spot called Shadow Lounge in Pittsburgh where we cut our teeth. And there
Yeah.
was this thing called rhyme calisthenics. And I don't know if you ever seen it up EO Dub or something. You used to bring it up. EO Dub was a wheel, you would spin it. And I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember Mac was like 16 and I was outside freestyling and he was like, yo, how do you do that? And at first I kind of was like, oh, bro, like again, he was a young kid. I was stunned because I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he like really wanted to know
Yeah.
because rappers were so standoffish, like, and so at first I'm like, he's like, no, for real, like I want to learn how you freestyle so well. That's amazing.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, the setup doesn't matter as much as the punches. Da, 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 da. And so it made perfect sense as Mac Miller's career went on. He evolved.
Mm.
He was a sponge. So I say that to say, with this record and the records, the last few records, not being afraid to see what other artists do well and try to add that to your tool belt instead of always being the angry lyricist. He can't rap as good as me. He can't write. It's like, okay,
Mm.
cool, but what other things can you add? So I'm glad you pointed out that record, the Pounding Pavement one, man, is definitely one of my favorite songs off the album.
Is there a
Tar
video?
Lane.
There's a video for Pounding the Pavement?
There
Or
is
no?
a video for Pounding Pavement. I put together, I think, 6 or 7 videos off this project. I try to do the most with the least budget. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Whatever. Right. So like I think the visuals are really good. And yeah, I mean it when it came out, it was like 15th on the iTunes hip hop charts, which was cool. And I
Yeah.
released it on the anniversary of my pops
Yeah.
passing. So yeah, it means a lot to me, man. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Anybody that's watching this, listening, or whatever the case, when you hear the song, like it definitely shows, because they also have that stigma of like battle rappers can't make music. We've heard
Mhm.
that throughout years. This album and hearing Real Deal rap on music is one of those things when you just realize like somebody got to figure out to find him and sign him.
My dog, man.
Yeah, man.
No, I appreciate it.
That's just the reality of it though. Like hearing it, if you can't hear that, then you just really ain't listening, or you're just not really in depth with music. Just like I can hear that song is a big record if it's written for somebody else. And that's
Mhm.
another thing. If you're out there, you need a songwriter. Hearing this, if you listen to the project, he can write songs for you. You can hear that he has the skills to write the songs for you out there too. So anybody out there looking for those big records, holla at Real Deal, man.
My dog, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
let's get into the origin of the name, man. Real Deal. How'd you get that?
Oh, I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell it to you, man. It's
Please, please.
embarrassing, but I gotta tell it to you. So
Go ahead.
there's not two different origins, but they kind of I got to because my man Pat Stay, his birthday just passed, the
Rest
legend,
in
and he
peace.
loved this story. So, well, the first thing, it was my backyard wrestling name. So when we'd all backyard wrestle,
Yeah.
I named myself Real Deal. And the only reason I did is because I used to come out to D'Lo Brown's music, and he'd be like, "You looking at the real deal now?" Like, so I would just right. So that was the first part of it. And then once I started rapping, I'm like, all right, I'll stick with it. But to me, it still is. It was pretty bland. So I'm like, man, I gotta figure out a way to spice it up. So this is circa '02, and I was all about bringing hip hop back, like you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and which is ludicrous. But anyway, so I tried to make an acronym out of it. And I was like, it means rap's entire answer lies deeply embedded amongst listeners.
Oh
And
man.
when I told
Super
my man
long.
Pat, dog, like when I told
Oh,
Pat about it, he was crying, laughing. I told him like I'm talking to you. He immediately went and shared it in this huge forum. Like, really just told me that. I was like, damn, Pat, somebody gonna roast me for that shit. But yeah, man, I tried it first to be like, and then after that, I was just like, all right, man, I'm just gonna rock with it. And as corny as it sounds, like, you know, I'd be at a ride, I'd do really well in a battle or a rhyme cal, or one of my performances will get received well. And someone will be like, okay, real deal, man, that definitely fits. And I still hate when people send me a message that they're like outside a Subway and it's like, get the real deal. I'm like, I get it, man. Like it's, you know,
Yeah,
it's not the most clever thing that, but by the time I had established so much behind the name Real Deal, I couldn't change it. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm like, I don't even know what I would change it to. You know what I mean? So
yeah. It's so crazy when you think about the names. Like, I remember when it started being people like, well, Eric Sermon had his real name from the beginning, but just thinking like, man, can I transition to my real name?
I know,
You know what
bro.
I mean? Like, how does your like the real
Cause
name sound? You know what I'm
you
saying?
Google search me, bro. There's like 70,000 real. Like I totally one of the biggest ball drops, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, I remember at one point, probably 10 years, 15 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna change my name to my favorite name in the word in the English language. I think is probably Audacity. I said I'm gonna change my rap name to Audacity, but then I was like, that's so backpackerish, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I'm like,
yeah,
shut up, just be real deal and just, you know what I mean, keep it moving, bro. Like,
yeah.
so
And it's easy to remember Real Deal.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy to remember. So the one thing that a lot of people may not know, like, Scribble Jam, to URL that, but Scribble Jam, like, I try to explain people like going to Scribble Jam, driving over to Cincinnati and being out there, what it was like. And that was the first time I really was learning about rhyme sayers and
Mhm.
idea and ability. Cause I wasn't in the Midwest that or just in that area at all. Like you hear about Scribble
Mhm.
Jam, you're trying to be everywhere because we had Rock Steady. So then
Mhm.
you're trying to find out all these other places you're hearing about. So we're driving or flying there and going to Scribble Jam. Can you describe what it was about Scribble Jam back then?
So when I didn't know anything about Scribble Jam until I stumbled on this website that was covering the World Rap Championships. I always, when I talk about my experience at Scribble Jam, I equate it to, have you ever seen the movie Almost Famous?
I believe I have.
So there's a part where Philip Seymour Hoffman, legend, he's on the phone with the young dude who's following the band, and he basically says to him, "Kid, you're around for rock and roll's last stand. Like this is their last kick. It's on its last leg." So I say that because when I got the Scribble, freestyle battle rapping was dying, like quickly, right? So
Were you
people
there
started
around the
doing.
time when Mac was there?
Well, Ilmac had won it '05, I want to say. So yeah, I mean, I would even say I would say about '05, '06. It's people started to figure out the pre-Buttle situation. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Pre-Buttles, if he looks like this dude, I'm gonna say, if he Asian, I'm gonna say something about Bruce Lee. If he, fat and white, I'm gonna say something about this fat white famous dude,
right.
whatever. So pre-Buttles became a thing, and then they started to kind of take over a little bit. And so I got there in '07.
Mm.
And I remember, battling in front. PH was the host, man, legend, man. Like man.
Man, I just did an interview with artist You'll Never Know. That's his name. I don't know if you know
Mhm.
him. And he said, "Man, I forgot to mention PH discovered me." Literally, I just did an interview about an hour ago, and he was like, "PH found me at grind time." So that's two mentions of PH, and I got a
Yeah,
Swave
man.
Sever interview that dropped today. So
Oh,
yeah,
Swave is the man. Swave is
shout
the but
shout
yeah,
to PH, man, and PH,
PH.
man, he's
That was
big.
we had driven down, and at the prelims, I didn't know, like, so I get in the prelims, I win the first round, and it was all about crowd reaction. That's back when crowd reaction meant
Right.
everything. So I lose the second round,
Let me ask you a
which
question. Is this the outside stage or the indoor stage?
inside. It's the inside, right? But bro, it was a venue was called Annie's or something, but it was such a
Yeah.
dope venue. Like it was literally like a damn Willy Wonka candy shop of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Yeah.
super dope. So I remember I lost the second day, and Kevin Beecham was like, "Look, man,
Shout out
stand
to
by the."
Kevin.
Yeah, he goes,
Rhyme
"Stand by
says,
the." And he says, "Stand by the gate, man. Like we think you're dope, and there's usually people that don't show up." So this is '07. And I didn't, and at this time, like I didn't know a lot about Dose Noun and Ron Noodles who battled before me on Scribble.
right.
Remarkable for, amazing battle rappers. But
Yeah, yeah.
so that whole year, I had been, bro, I didn't even have a computer. I was going to the library to watch the Source on World Rap Championship. Like, this dude's unbelievable. So first round, I get in the Scribble Jam. Basically, somebody no shows. I get in, I win the first round. And if you remember the Scribble Jam battles, they don't say who won. You just wait to see if you're
Wait.
called again,
Yeah.
right? So, boom, all of a sudden they're like, all right, let's get real deal with the Source to the stage. I was like, yo, what? Like, and he just looks at me with this shit-eating grin, like, and so there's two rounds. First round is whatever, but second round, he just flips everything, cooks me. And I remember, and I've told the story numerous times, going back, waiting for this footage to drop. Now, it wasn't, somebody recorded with a phone, they always did. And this
Right.
shit comes out on YouTube. And I remember thinking people was going to give me props. Like, I had no experience with how savage the internet could be.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm thinking, nigga, like, yo, I had a red and black shirt. I was thinking they're going to be like, dude, and the red and black was dope, though. And I had 30 minutes when you sign up. I click on it. It's like Buddy with the red and black should kill himself. He's the worst
Oh
rapper
my
I've ever
goodness.
heard. And at the bottom words, it's just like 29 minutes left. I'm like, no, I'm good on this. I don't need to read no more. I was about to be done battle rapping. I'm like, maybe this ain't for me. And luckily, obviously I shook that off, and I realized
Right.
that the next scribble, everybody had lost a thesaurus at that point.
Yeah.
Literally, they said that, like, no can do is like, bro, we all lost. Who cares? You're dope. And I
Right.
was like, damn. So a funny story about the second scribble I made it to is I had to win a prelim in Cleveland. And I remember battling in Cleveland, again from Pittsburgh. Now, of course, at the time I was dressed in all Steelers just to be obnoxious and an idiot.
Right.
And so I won it there. And I go to we go to Scribble Jam or what have you, and MySpace had blown up. And this is how I knew it was the death of freestyle battle rap. And they announced the who won each prelim. So you got at least someone's name you can work with.
Yeah.
And I'm on the side of the stage. Now I ain't gonna lie, I had some pre-buttles tucked too, but I
Right.
remember the one dude said, yo, if I battle such and such, I got a whole round for him. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and then Grind Time was coming out at this time. I say, yeah, this is probably it for Scribble. But I mean, an amazing thing. I know Dibs is doing a documentary on it. Amazing experience, man.
Yeah. And then as time goes on, um, you battle, you got 4-time champion, King of the Dot. You make it a URL as well. I want to delve into some of that as well, but I want to
Mm,
get into the craft of the writing.
mm,
Um, because you're legendary with the battling, and people who don't necessarily understand the time it takes to put it together. And that's why I love doing this, is because I can actually, so while it's like, I'd be like, man, I can ask my friends how they came with the rhyme, because real, like, a lot of times it's like we used to call each other and say our verses. We don't do that no
mm,
more. Yo, check
mm.
this, what I wrote. I haven't done that in a while. Or
Right, right, right.
right? And people see you show up or they hear the rhyme, but they don't know what it took for you to put it together and craft it. So I want people to understand like what it takes. And I guess in some way you can kind of maybe elaborate on some of these in both ways. Like if I'm writing a battle is this, and if I'm writing, song is this.
Right.
But who are like your influences as far as just rapping in general?
I swear to you, bro. I'm not even saying it because you here. You one of my earliest rap hip hop influence writing wise. Cause
Thanks.
my man Rudy, I'm gonna send him this interview. He's gonna bug out. He would be up on all the like underground lyricists.
Yeah.
And so he put me down with you, and then it was the Odyssey, and it was like, was it like Man Tooth Records or something at
Oh
the
yeah,
time?
yeah. Odyssey. Shout out to Odyssey, man.
Yeah,
Odyssey.
and I
Half
and
Tooth
I remember
Records. Half Tooth Records.
Half Tooth. What I say, Man Tooth? I'm Dorothy Man Tooth. That's what I'm thinking. But So yeah, Half Tooth Records, and I remember, you know, that like that was one of my early influences writing. I don't know if you've ever heard Timothy Brindle, who was like a Christian hip hop artist. Not
Okay.
not that I was all about Christianity or whatever, but the way he structured his rhymes.
Right.
Bubba Sparks was an early influence because not because I'm in Pittsburgh. I don't have no country, but I like how he rapped what he was about. You know what I'm saying? Like he did.
Flow crazy. Flow
Yeah,
crazy.
he didn't fake the funk, you know what I mean? And of course, you know, your J's, your M's, like
Yep.
take a lot of influence from those. You know, Bob Dylan is an influence of mine,
Mm.
because he's not afraid to write things that only he gets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I kind of like that. I wouldn't do entire records like that, but yeah, the process of battle rap writing for me is I try to check every box. So like I want punchlines, angles. I want humor. I want to say some funny shit. I want a viewer to think that I had an actual performance rather than 9 minutes of rapping. Because I get bored with just punch, punch, punch. You know what I'm saying? Four
Yeah.
bar punch, 4 bar punch. Some things I know that like names, right? Like if somebody got a name that sounds real slick, super
Right.
syllabic to rhyme, like Michael Clark Duncan, like that's a fire name to rhyme. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
to Bible bar pump and Michael Clark. You know what I mean? Like things like that jump out. Obviously, name flips is usually the first ingredient that goes in the pot, right?
Right.
Like how can I flip this person's name? I always tell people that I don't watch battle rappers battles anymore because people be having so many battles. But what I do try to watch is one local battle where somebody
Okay.
knows them, and then one of their biggest battles. And the local battle reason is because somebody locally probably had some good ideas and just couldn't execute. And they'll, you know what I mean? And you'll get some gems from that. And then obviously their big battles, typically more well known. But yeah, that I mean, as far as writing process, like I said, I try not to, you know, I really try not to reach, you know what I mean? Because that shit gets a little wild. But songwriting, man, for me, the difference, you know, conceptually, I'm able to execute. But of course, I feel like you got to give somebody a couple verses off an album that sound battle rapish, right? Like if they know you as this raw lyricist, you got to give them a couple of those. Now, do I want to do 17 tracks,
Yeah.
lyrical murder the beat? Like, nah, but I'm gonna give you a couple of those. You know what I mean? It's fun to do. It's a braggadocious shit. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
hate this words. What do you think about this? There's a lot of criticism nowadays when people be like, I'm tired of people rapping about rapping. I'm like, why not? Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Like, why
Yeah.
can't you just rap about how nice you rap? Like,
I think the way I look at it is it took me like maybe like once I got to like my first album, I rapped about rapping a little, then the second. But as I got more doing it, I made it a rule to only do one or two on it on the
mm,
album. I made it
yeah,
a rule because I realized to get this inroads of where I'm going on my career trajectory and what I'm trying to do, the rapping about rapping doesn't really garner the attention I need to have the conversations to get to where I want to go.
mm,
So I learned that I'm gonna have that on there because we have the mix shows that like that. So then I
mm.
got to make sure there's that mix show joint on there for that.
Right. I was
And
gonna
then
say that throwaway verse that you ready for at all time. That you know what I'm saying.
yeah, so that's what I like doing. So I always have one of those on there. But as I got older, I go by a rule of like, if I can't play it for my girl, it pretty much ain't gonna make the album. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because
mm,
she's the average consumer, listener.
right.
So she'll if it's a great song, like listening to your joints, I can jump in the car, play it with both of us. So that's how I look at it, right? Listening to
Okay.
your joints, very universal made. But then also the battle joint, she don't care about how nice you are, like the bragging. That's not gonna
Got you.
resonate. So as we kind of get further in our career and kind of start networking more, when I'm introducing myself as the educator and artist, the battle record isn't going to resonate with the people I'm meeting network wise, but the songs
Mm,
like A Test of Time and, you know, even if I say The Realtor, these songs are things they can relate to. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So
I got to
I'm
that song off the album, The Realtor, man. Genius,
yeah,
man.
thanks,
Genius,
man.
genius
So
concept,
just
bro.
trying to make sure that I'm making songs that I can suggest to people that don't know me. That's what I've learned. But I'm always gonna have something rapping about rapping, like the song on the album nominated. So just trying to make sure I got one or two on there because there's people
Yeah.
that want that. But overall, man, rap about rapping. But I just think the majority has to be a universal thought. And that I just all I can say is I can just hark back to your album. You're rapping about life stuff, and the pace of the way you're rapping and putting together is great to listen to, man. I'll be honest, man.
I
Is it like
appreciate you, brother. I
a
appreciate that.
great
That's high
like
praise, man.
it was a great like I was like, yo, this guy should be bigger artist. So as you're crafting, are you paper and pen on the computer, or you write the rhymes in your head?
I have finally moved from paper to pen to phones, notes app, computer. I finally, I'm like, and I
Yeah.
always it makes sense because I'm from Pittsburgh, and here's why I say that. I've always joked that Pittsburgh is like we're the last to catch on to any trend, bro. Like we are like things that pop in New York, we don't get it till 4 years later. I always say
Okay.
Pittsburgh was probably the last city where we still thought wearing Echo was where it's at. Like, you know what I mean? We were like, like those
Yeah.
people that go to war and they don't know the war's over and they're still in the jungle. Like
Yeah.
that's how. So of course I'm one of the last rappers that was still carrying around a notepad, and I was like, all right, man, so I went to the notes app, and you know what's funny about it
Yeah.
is I'll hear a word somebody says, and I'll
Hmm.
immediately go to the notes app. Now I don't know if I'll make anything out of it, but
Yeah.
if like somebody says a note, or you know what else be getting me, man, is them like them super slick, cool sayings that people down south got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just like I'll be like straight to the notes app, or if I'm watching a movie or something and something happens, I'm like, yo, that could be a punch straight to the notes app. So and then you revisit it and you got 500 ideas. You're like, why did I write something about what's eating Gilbert Grape in here? Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then just a random word like polytheistic. Why did I write that in here? Like, but yeah, it's a trip. I would
Yeah.
never have done that with the paper pencil.
Yeah, it's funny because Pooh, from Little Brother, I believe he said he was gifted one time his rhyme in a frame, the written version. And what I've been kind of just saying is that the written paper now has become the art, is the new art. So imagine we go, I come to Pittsburgh and you just have a gallery showing of your written work. That is the new gallery walk. And I'm going through and I'm like, man, he scribbled this out. And then you see what he chose. He had open here and he went with broken and put that in there, but he scribbled it out. This is ill. And then this
And
is the final.
I read a book. First of all, I'm writing gallery walk in my notes app because I like that. So if you hear me in a battle say something about a gallery walk, you're like, oh yeah, okay, boom, now you inspired it. Um, but I read an Eminem book. I don't even read a lot of books, whatever. I need to read more books to be honest with you. But I read some Eminem book years ago, and I remember there was pictures of like him writing the ideas for Stan or what. And so I have tons of notebooks of stuff that I wrote in the past, but like I said, I've probably evolved. Is that the one I'm thinking?
Yeah, it got all that in there.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that taught me like, yo, I'm gonna hold on to these. So I have like a box in my garage of like, songs that I wrote. And you're right, man. It's cool as hell to see scratched out here and your random thought, like dumb stuff you wrote in the corner, or like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think
Yeah.
it's the future of art. Like I really think like one day I could come to Pittsburgh and you'd be like, yo, I'm having a gallery, exhibit. It's of my written rhymes when I wrote this rhyme. And we go through and there's a price on it with a frame.
Mm,
And we're going through. Because imagine if it was Tupac's work,
for
right? And it
sure.
was
For
there
sure.
written, if it was Biggie's. And now that we're getting to this phase of we're in the digital era. Not that we're getting to it, but we are in it. But it is kind of getting rid of, some of the paper and writing as well. That the paper aspect and the art of it, as watching what you write and what you crossed out, is the art, because the essence of it is that.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah, man,
physical CDs, I feel like have become the new vinyl. Like I
yeah,
still
physical.
print physical CD. People still like buy. There's people like, I don't even have a CD player. I'm gonna take two of them. No, I want that for the. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I still print them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
we still me and Stu, we got CDs and we do the vinyl as well. So yeah, man, it's just crazy, but the writing of what you're doing, man, is the art, is the future art. Like I said, man, I can see a gallery just walking around reading your rhymes with the scribbles on it, it'd
my
be interesting.
man, that's a good
What
ass
a-
idea.
what about are you do you write in the studio or at home? What's your preference on that as far as do you do you show up at the studio and write in there?
No, the only time I'll ever write at the studio is if I've got like 12 of a 16 knocked out and I can convince myself, like, all right, I could put these last four
Yeah.
in, you know what I'm saying, and make it happen. Sometimes I jot down stuff at the gym or hilariously, like at a prep period in school, like, you know what I mean, if I got a prep period, third period or something,
Yeah.
especially if it's an early one, because I'm more productive in the morning. So some of the funny thing is, some of the coldest haymakers I probably said in battle rap came up while I was sitting, you know what I mean, at my
Yeah.
office at a prep at school. Like, but of course, you have your times where you mandatory force yourself to sit down and focus, because as much as I'd like to think I'm very good at multitasking, I could always be better. I'm probably above average at best at it. And so
Yeah.
there's times I got four things going on all at 75%. And I'm like, all right, man, you gotta lock
Right.
in. So yeah.
So if you have to if you had to write in the studio on spot, you could do it, or you would prefer to like be like, nah, I'm gonna come back. Cause I've seen like Jadakiss, that's one thing he does. He writes in the studio, so he'll tell people, yo, save me a 16. When I get there, I do it. And then some people are like, they're not even showing up. Some people won't even. The last interview I did with You'll Never Know, he said the engineer told him, yo, my man, you're paying me to come in here and keep going over and over and over this verse. If you just did it at home, you wouldn't be paying me this
Mhm.
extra money. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that's the cloth. I'm probably so like I could I write something in the studio? I guess, but to
yeah,
me, I pay if I pay the studio for 2 hours, I need a productive 2 hours
right.
where like I'm knocking stuff out. And I feel like once I hate recording something twice. So if I
Mm,
record my 16, I hate having to take it back and be like, oh, I got to do this again. I'm like, bro, you had 2 hours. So I feel like that writing in the studio for me would just be a little bit too much pressure.
mm.
Um,
Same here, man.
yeah, like I feel like I had a job to do. Now I know major artists, they'll get a whole day studio book, so they'll hang out. With like I've never had that luxury. You know what I'm saying? Like when I book a studio 2 hours, it's coming out of my pocket. And I need to, you know what I mean? I need to get things locked and knocked out. So yeah, I writing in the studio would be foreign to me. I'll say that.
Yeah. And how long does it take for you to write a verse or a song, and maybe you're 3 rounds?
So a song, bro, usually that first four bars is the biggest roadblock, right? Like, how do I start this off? And I feel
Yo.
like in my head, people say the cogs are turning. I feel like they just turn slow. I can hear them like, gung, 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 gung. And then when I finally get a nice 4 bar intro,
Hmm.
then it usually snowballs. So yeah, I mean, I can get a verse done in an hour plus. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I would say probably 2 hours or so. Now for a
Okay.
battle generally takes me, if it's a 3 round, let's say 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I've written them quick. In perfect world, I would like 2 weeks to write. That way I can, I have a system where like, I'll run my material by homies, you know what I mean? I like to see their responses, reactions. I run them a bunch of times till I eventually am like, is this as good as I thought it was? You know what I mean? So generally 2 weeks. Again, if the pressure is a situation, because memorizing is the worst part. Like
Yeah, I was
writing
gonna
is
ask
not the
about
worst.
that.
memorizing is just trash, bro. Like, so writing, I could do better, right? But I would prefer, like I said, 2 weeks. That way I can watch a little bit if I need to. Um, and you know, and yeah, just jot down ideas in that kind of situation.
I think one of the best things about watching you battle rap is, I know for me, I'm not I'm not swayed by anything like with the crowd and all that. Oh, and all that. None of that.
Right, right.
That doesn't do anything for me. My I'm looking at the technicality of the writing and the bars. So that's one of the dopest things about watching you rap, because I know like the bars are gonna be fire, and the puzzle that you put together of words, it's just like, it's elite. So, that's why I enjoy watching you write. How about the time constraints, as far as if you're doing a song for like maybe somebody else, or
Hmm.
let's say a commercial?
Hmm.
How do you deal with that? Do you feel like, it's restricting you from being your best, right? Because you said like an hour and a half for like a verse. There's moments sometimes real, like you might, we need that by tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
How do you balance your judgment on it being as great as it is? Because it's gonna turn out great, but like, do you ever go like, I guess the internal struggle of like, "Dang, I did this great thing in a one day, and I'll be taking this long to do that. Maybe I could do this or that." Like, you gotta have a certain grace with yourself
Hmm. Right, right.
to situational. It's very situational, man.
I've got a so typically with a song, conceptually, and I know you know this because you have some of the most unique concepts in it. Um, if I sit down and have a concept, I could, time wise, I'm good on that hour and a half. Now, I will say, I have a song that I'm working on. It's the first
Mhm.
song that I really have to do research. Like, I want to write a song about what happened in Pittsburgh on the Tree of Life situation where they open fire in that Jewish synagogue. I'm trying to think perspective wise, and I really got to do some research to think of a way to present it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
I got the beat, and I want to do the concept, and it's been one of the most challenging ones, bro. I've been sitting on this idea for like months and months and months, and I just can't find the exact, very similar to like Eminem did that Darkness song uh off his record about the man, it was the Mandalay Bay kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't recall which one, but
It was about a shooting, the Mandalay Bay one. So I don't know I don't want
oh,
to
the one with
sound
the
like,
window, with the guy in the
yeah,
window.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to sound like I took his, you know what I mean? But um I just that's something that I've been like racking my brain about. Like, but typically,
But that's what
like,
I can admire about what you do. The quality control. Real, like, the quality control is very important to you, man, and it shows in the writing.
I
So
appreciate it, bro. Yeah.
that's an example that people need to hear, that that quality control, because I think a lot of people lack that quality control that you're talking about. So I'm eager. I can't wait to hear what it comes out and how it comes out, because the time you're taking to put it together.
Yeah, man. I'm like I said, and maybe and maybe you've probably run into this too. Maybe because I'm taking so much time, maybe I'm putting added pressure on myself, right? Like, bro, you've been sitting on these 8 months. This got to be so crazy. And then I've run into this. Early on, I struggle with this at times, trying to think of a concept so unique that at the end of the day, it's kind of too much. It's like, oh yeah, that's a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's you. This is you lost me on this. Like, so, but yeah, I have a big germ beat for it, and I want to do it again in a tasteful, respectful way. And
yeah.
but
I mean, at the end of the day, man, um, I try to live by this, like some of our other artists that came out, like a DMX.
mm,
Some of his rhymes were like 20 years old, he was putting on a new album. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And he would tell you, yo, this rhyme is 17 years old. And we would hear the DMX album and be like, yo, this song is crazy. So I think whatever time it's gonna take, when it comes out, it comes out. And people will appreciate it, whatever, the time that's put into it, I think at the end of the day. But DMX, the way his career is, I always try to use that as a motivational, like him getting signed at like 33. So when people talk about age stuff, or him, telling you,
Right.
yo, this rhyme is 10 years old. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, man, you got to really look at it. It's like, it's really art. There's really no time frame on the art, no matter how long it takes to put it together. If it's going to be fire and it's put on the right platform, it's going to be fire.
Right.
Do you prefer to write to the beat, or you have rhymes already prepared and then you say, okay, let me match that with this?
I like the beat, you know what I mean? I like to let the beat speak to me first, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And then think of the direction to go from there. There definitely was a time super early on where I would just write random stuff and
yeah.
then with the beat, you know what I mean? But as I got old, like I like letting the beat, you know what I mean, decide the way that the track is gonna go. And then sitting down and knocking something out. And a lot of times, with the beat, then you can hear a hook or which direction you're like, oh, this
Right.
country voice on this would sound dope, or like a soulful or a gospel like kind of voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of that, chorus first or verse first?
Verse. I still Verse is my comfort zone. Um, Choruses are always gonna be, I don't want to say my kryptonite, but like the thing that I try, because right, I don't know if you run into this, but you want the best possible chorus
Yeah.
without having to constantly get a feature. Like you want to prove like, yo, I can lay a chorus myself too.
Yeah.
Not to say that you're gonna be Whitney Houston belting notes or something, but
Right.
right, you don't want to always be the guy that's like and featuring someone who can make it catchy. So I think that's something I struggle with on every project, saying like, all right, man, I know that this kind of chorus would work, but some of these I gotta be a big boy and do on my own. You know what I'm saying? But it's
For
always
sure.
verse first for me.
Yeah, I learned over time, working with Ace has been dope, because like Ace, working with him and then doing albums with him, it was like, yo, we don't always gotta be on the hook. So he was always thinking of who could do the hooks.
Mhm.
That's part of just his ideology of doing music. And then over time, I just wanted to get better at doing hooks because I wanted to be hired to do hooks. So I've written
Mhm.
hooks for people, you know, and
Mhm.
and they got used on albums. I've written a couple of hooks. So which is dope. Shout out to Ace, because Ace will send me records to write hooks. And so I love that he trusts me to write hooks and come up with hooks. And then when I'm working on a project like this latest project, I wrote all the hooks that I have people do.
Mhm.
So that's the other aspect of it too. So even if I'm having a guest on it, I pretty much will write it and then just have them do it. But I just over time, it's just over time, I guess practice, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm about half with that. I would say half, maybe less. I'd say about 25% of the choruses that I've had somebody else do, I've written.
yeah.
And because there's always that too. Like I don't know if how to present. I don't want to insult you. Like what I mean. If you
Yeah, real.
well, yeah, I can. We can collab on this, or you could do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so.
I got it's funny because we both are the same writer,
Yeah,
so we
it's
know
a
what that's
slippery
like.
slope, right? It's
We
like
know.
yeah, you like, man, I
Yeah.
ain't trying to and then you're nervous too if they're like, no, I got it, because you're nervous. Like, what if they send back something that's, you know what I mean? And I've had that happen where you have to make that uncomfortable conversation where you're like,
Oh
man, your
man.
voice is great on this. It's just not really
Yeah,
on beat, or it's like, you know what I mean,
I
where you
know.
kind of put too many words in there. You know what I mean?
I've been there too with that. Yep, for sure. I'm up here, got tears in my eyes because when you brought it up, I'm like, I know exactly that
Uh,
feeling. We know that feeling, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But so far it's been cool, but I pretty much, like you said, I'll present it and say, yo, this is the hook. I just want you to say
Mhm.
it. And
Right.
I've had some people like actually say, man, I ain't want to do the hook because I ain't write it, because the integrity of how they are as an MC, like I don't want to say a hook if I didn't write it, but
Right.
they did it, and they was like, they even asked other people like, "Yo, what do you think if I do this hook, man?" Because they feel like I'm writing for them.
For a hook too, though, they feel that way.
Yeah, brother.
Um,
So that's probably why we get that response.
I could see that for a verse, but for a hook, I would just think,
That's some of that,
um,
yo, deal. That's some of that. That's some of that thought
yeah,
process on why we probably get that. Yo, I rather because they feel
mm,
like, but me, yo, I'll say the hook. Just send it to me. Yo,
mm.
yo, can you say this hook for me? Boom, boom.
Yo,
I
the
might
hook's fire. Yeah, like I
if
mean,
the hook's fire. You want me to do it? I'll do the hook. I don't
I
have
listen.
no.
I got my man BD on this new record that I'm working on. BD's
Mhm.
dope, and he not only sent back a verse and a hook, and I was like, I like this hook. What should I? I'm gonna say it the second time. He's like, cool. I said, I didn't even think twice about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what some of that thought process is for some people and whatnot. So, um, yeah, that occurred. All right, so yeah, beat picking process, right? Um, because I'm listening to the album and you pick kind of like a certain tempo to me. It seems like you stay in a nice tempo that you could drive with it, you could groove with it. It's not too fast, it's nothing too fast. It's just like writing that perfect. I guess it's really like it feels real like song driven tempo. Like you
Mm.
kind of figured out like this is that groove that people can listen to what I'm saying, and at the same time it can cause an emotional reaction. They can relate to what it is. I'm not speeding on my message. It's a great pacing. You have great pacing with the beat process. So how do you choose your beats?
So typically, bro, like I have a lot of producers that I go to. Like I said, I've been fortunate, man, to be able to recently these last two records work with Ricky P, Diamond producer, you know what I mean, over Taylor Gang, Big Germ. These guys have taken care of me. I mean, they could be knocking my head for a beat, you know what I mean? And
Right.
they're but yeah, I sit down and I sift through the beat, man, and I have been trying to challenge myself cadence wise a little more. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that's something that again I come back full circle to the Mac Miller thing. Like I stayed in my comfort zone for so long that these last I want to say three records I've really tried different things on it. You know what I mean to make sure
Mhm.
that I'm expanding as an artist. So yeah, and like I said, beat selection too. Now, some of these beats, if I hear it has like a country hip hop sound to it, you know, um, I guess the simplest way to put it, if I listen to the beats and I'll put a number next to it, like from 1 to 10. I'll be like, and anything that's a 7 or above gets a second listen. Like if
Okay.
I'm grabbing beats, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this again. And if the second listen it doesn't come above a 7, I'll be like, nah, that's not strong enough. But second listen, I'm like, yo, this is actually like an 8. I like this beat. But you know what I mean? Grows on me, whatever. So that's usually the way I go with it.
I guess how did you kind of figure out the balance, man? Because you know you're doing battle raps, but you're making like big music. Like, how did you figure out like the beats for you? Like without
Mm,
saying like these are I can't rhyme on these beats. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like you have to have
Right.
that kind of conversation of, am I picking the beats that people that know me are going to like versus am I picking great song beats?
I think I lean definitely a lot more towards song beats. And this is gonna sound selfish, bro. Like I just pick beats that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hope the end product will be a song that people enjoy. So like the pounding pavement, I love the beat soon as I heard it when I seen it on German and then I built the song around it.
On
And
iTunes, right? There's like a gray dot they put next to the song that's heard the most. So I
Mhm.
looked, Pound and Pavement got the gray dot.
Yeah, bro.
Eh,
And so and balancing them both, bro. Like, and this is something not on some tooting, some horn tooting shit, but
Now go ahead, brother. Please do, man.
I have the fifth most rap battles ever. Right, I have like
Mhm.
200 something or whatever, 180. You can go. There's like a website called Verse Tracker that shows you.
Yep.
And I've also since 2010 have 7 full-length albums. Words. And here's the other thing.
Hmm.
There, I've shared this story before. So I don't do no mixtapes. That's one of my biggest things. And the only reason is I can't, if I something I gotta be sacrificed, it's gotta be a mixtape. So I do full-length projects
Yep.
and battles. And I make sure and that every full-length album is upwards of 70 minutes because when you first started making the burn CDs, it can hold 72 minutes. And I remember I bought a rap album. I remember the one time I was really excited. I spent 16 bucks on it. This had to be like '02, and the album was dope, but it was only like 32 minutes long. And this is right at the time there was burn CDs. And I'm like, if you could put 70, like, why didn't you give me more music for? So it probably overall, I mean, you'll never see one of my albums get 5 mics or none because there's so much content on it. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? But just to add that piece, I work, bro, like with and I'll never forget somebody said that to me. That was the name of my first 2010, my album, The Working Man's MC, was somebody told me down in Florida. I was at a rap battle event. It was like, bro, you got that blue collar kind of shtick from Pittsburgh. You like the working man's MC out here. And I'm,
For
oh, that's
real.
dope. So yeah, bro. I always need to be busy, bro. I always need to be busy. So like I said, I'm probably 40% done on this new record that I'm excited about. And just I love to do it. I have no delusions of ascending the charts to be, and I don't know if Jelly Roll breaks in he went to country, but I was gonna say he broke down some doors at 39. Who
It's any day, man. The way it works
man,
today is any day, man. I'll
I
be
feel
honest, like
like
I said, that pound in the pavement joint, like I was like, if he did this on the Grammys, he'd be out of here. I'm just being real. Like that type of record. You know what I'm saying? That's how big the record is. And that's just, but then you just realize that's just how life is. There's so many dope records we hear on other artists' albums that you'd be like, damn, if it's got the light of day. And
right.
sometimes it's like an old song, but the dope thing about today that I do love is you can actually do a video for an old song. You can
Mm,
actually spark life into old music now because videos and people don't know the time frame. They just enjoy the visual and then they get introduced to that song. Before
mm,
it used to be very calculated. Like you drop that year, that's the year you're out. That's it. You
yeah,
don't sell this
yeah,
many records. We're not putting it on TV. There's no video place. Today, you go back, revisit an old song, drop a video for it. Next thing that record gets sparked again. So the pound in the pavement joint, if it's not now, eventually it's gonna do it. So
appreciate
what's
that, bro.
what's going on with the revision process for you as far as like the quality control? We spoke about that a little bit.
Mm,
How do you know like that's not it? I know you were talking about like you say your bars to people,
mm,
but then I do know that despite if you're a battle rapper, I don't care how many bars you say to anybody, you do not know what's going to hit, right? You just don't know.
correct,
You don't.
correct.
You could say something fire to you and your boy like, yo, that's crazy. And then you be in the room and that don't land. And the one you thought wouldn't land lands. You
Right.
you just can't really predict it all the way through. What's your revision process for the songwriting aspect of, you know, changing bars here and there, or and the battle raps too.
So songwriting, I think by the time that I have it all pinned down, the verse, I think I'm sold on what the verse
Okay.
is. I don't think um maybe if anything, I'll cut a word out to make the to for like to make the flow a little better.
Yeah.
Um, but I think once I have the verse pretty much penned out, I typically don't move much, and I won't put anything that's incorrect on a song. You know what I mean? I utilize Google first. Like I ain't gonna say something like, bro, what is dude talking about? That's not true. Like
Right.
so typically I'm okay in that aspect. And it's kind of the same for battle rap. Like I'll write something and if I like it, and this is gonna sound kind of dickheadish, but if I like it enough that I know it's good, I'm gonna say it. And what I started to like adapting is this personality. Like when people don't react, Because I've seen people react to some terrible lines too, bro, where I was like,
Yeah, man. I'm
what?
really, I'll be honest, I'm really I was watching a battle the other day and I had to turn it off because of the crowd reaction.
Oh yeah, bro.
I and it's like, yo, let your man rhyme. Like just let him
Yeah,
rhyme.
bro.
Let this other
And
person let the other person rhyme. Then let
mhm.
us judge if it's fire or not. But like the overreacting, I had to stop it after a round. Each did a round, and I saw how they both was like ODing, and I was like, I'm gonna come back to this. So I
It's
couldn't
hurt the product,
tolerate
bro. It's
I
hurt the
couldn't
product.
tolerate I couldn't
It's
tolerate
hurt the
watching that.
not only just that words, but like not only do people overreact, now they be saying that they try to make themselves part of the battle. So like
Yes.
you'll say a line, you'll be like something like Pangea. They'll be like, talk that Pangea shit. It's like, bro, man, like
Yeah, yeah.
stop trying
Talk
to
that
like,
Charlie Angel stuff.
yeah, bro, stop
It's the
trying to
other one
make
too.
yourself part
I
of the
was watching
battle.
when I
Like,
was watching, it was talk to him, talk
talk
to
to
him, getting in the middle
bro.
of the battle, like stepping out from the crowd to the middle of the floor, talk to him. And I was like, yo, I can't enjoy this, man, because you know, one, you're not convincing me if it's fire. So I don't know why y'all are doing that. Like, I don't care how much you hype your boy up. If it's not gonna make me think it's fire. I'm sorry. If it's
No.
fire, if it's fire, it's gonna be fire, whether you hype it up or not.
Right, right, right.
It,
And
it,
so to get back to the revision thing,
yeah,
I don't really go back and now again, I'm tedious with my writing. Like I
right.
try and I'm pretty accurate with it with not using reaches, not pronouncing a word I would never say like that just so it rhymes, you know what I'm saying? That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And so when I say it, if it don't hit or it don't hit to the level it is, it used to piss me off. But now I just ad lib it. So if I got a line that I think is crazy, like, whatever, something like Hunter S. Thompson, nobody responds. I'm like, that was fucking crazy. And then I'll just keep and and the fans will be like, and you can see people that don't get it words, but after I say that, they'll be like, that was fire. And I'm like, I don't even know. But it works, bro. It works. Just tell people that because here's my theory of
oh
all
my
the
god.
things that you can call somebody in life, right?
Yeah,
Making someone think that they're stupid is like the worst, right? Like you can call someone an asshole, you can call someone fat, skinny, whatever. But if someone literally goes to you like, yo, you're really stupid, aren't you? People get in their feels. Like that's a
yeah.
cut. So if I say something and I
Oh
don't even
man.
say I just imply like, oh, you didn't get that. That was fire. No, I got that was hey, that was fire. Like, you know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
can manipulate those kind of reactions. Is it the most organic reactions are obviously no pun intended better, but yeah, once I have something completely penned out at the end of my writing process, um I usually don't, I don't think I needed to revisit it. Maybe that's arrogant, you know what I mean, but at this stage, 20
Nah,
years deep in it, you know what I mean.
I think I mean, like you said, at this stage of the game, you mastered the lyricism aspect. But I think watching battle rap, and I know pretty much everything about battle rap from following it. Like I really am into it like that. I know about every rapper and so on and so forth. Um, but I think what's happening is some of the audience members are coming to the battle to not like bars. That's what I don't like. They're
Mm,
coming to root against a fire bar that you may say, in which the essence of battle rap, everybody, you show what you got, you show what you got, we rap.
right.
And despite you being my man or not, oh, we give it up. We
Yeah.
give it up. They would
Yeah.
give it up. Both sides would give it up. You know what I'm saying? Or be quiet and just be like, okay, he cooking. Now it's to a point that I'm coming to whatever you say that's fire. I'm not gonna acknowledge it fire. Or this and that. And you're trying to play these camera games.
And
And I
here's
get these camera games, but it's taken away from the actual listening of lyrics. So,
and
you
here's the
know,
flip side to it that people don't know that they're doing, because people in Pittsburgh in these local battles in Pittsburgh, they be doing it, and it's a bad look. When you over amp for your homie, you unintentionally vilify him to people watching online.
yep.
So if I'm watching you battle and you got your homies behind you, a gas station behind you,
Yes, yeah.
I'm already like, yeah, now I'm subconsciously, I don't want to like you and I don't want to think what you're saying is that crazy.
The fact.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's why I typically, I got a couple homies that when they go with me, other battlers like A Ward, Marv, Quest, Chiller, they stand
Yep.
behind me, but it ain't like that. They don't, they ain't grabbing me and throwing me around. So like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And the
I
funny
see
thing
them.
about that too is like, bro, especially if you already heard the shit, if the motherfucker already rapped it to you, now you're acting like you just got news of it. Like,
Yeah, man. So tell me how nowadays how you're staying motivated. I got a couple more questions to ask you. How you
it ain't gonna
staying
cut off at an hour, is it?
Nah, nah.
Okay,
It's
cool, cool, cool. I know
we should
some
be
Zooms cut off at the hour and you lose it, so
yeah,
that's why.
yeah. This is we should be good for at least another half or more.
Okay,
Um
clutch, clutch.
so staying motivated, how are you staying motivated as far as maybe on a musical level? Who do you listen to? What are you listening to write the music you're writing? The battle aspect, I think I kind of understand. Like you, it's internally in you now. Like you're gonna, you get excited. You say like you watch a local thing and then you might watch that. I'm more interested in really like delving into the music aspect because yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm listening to the music and enjoying it. So how are you staying motivated to write these songs?
You know what's crazy, bro, is I think the music motivates me much more than battle rap nowadays, bro. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like now last year in battle
Because
rap,
not to cut you off, but I have to because you know how good the music is. I know how good the music is, so I know there's a frustration there too because
of
I'm listening
course,
to it. You know what I'm
of
saying?
course,
Okay,
bro, of course.
go
And
ahead, go ahead, go
so,
ahead.
but
Yeah,
even at that, right? So
yeah,
like battle rap, my last year, 2025, I had maybe my best year ever. They do champion of the year every year. Like, I think I
right,
should win it. And if I don't win it, I know I'll come in the top five. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah.
right.
However, it takes me a lot more to get inspired nowadays in battle rap. Like,
Yeah.
and I will say there are very good writers, absolutely, but I feel
Oh yeah.
like a lot of it sounds the same. A lot of it is the
The four
waters
bar
have been
setup.
muddied. Right. They
The
have
four bar
found
setup has kind of killed the creativity in some
right.
regards.
People ain't taking risks. People aren't being funny and it's messy too, bro. Like it's gossipy shit. Like
Yeah.
and again, you know what I'm saying? Like
That's why
yeah,
that's why I love the original essence in a way. Like, yo, you show it with your 16s, 316s, I show it with mine.
right.
Whoever 16s are fire, you know.
It takes me more nowadays, bro. And again, like battle rap is not exactly ran by the most professional people, and that's not throwing
I know what
shade.
you're
Like
saying. Yeah,
if anything, I'm giving them props. It's people that had an idea and a dream, and now they own, and they're more professional now, but they
for sure.
learned as they went along. So like, the paydays or the numbers are always, 1 month they're high, then they're low. The leagues, there's cool kids tables, blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah. There's a lot to navigate through with battle rap, but song
right.
making, I don't know, man. I love sitting down and, like I said, having the opportunity to collaborate and try to elevate my pen with, people like yourself and the apathies and the Sage Francises, and you know what I mean, and being considering myself as a peer. You know what I mean? I'm going from a fan to a peer. Like, I'm more inspired and excited at 40 than you know what I mean. And then again, getting I always said I prefer my music over my battle rap, but I get it. The battle rap is the immediate, um you get the immediate response from it.
Yeah,
But making music, especially being able to, showcase and shed light on things that have happened to me in my life that other people are dealing with. So yeah, man, the album stuff is, I just want to see how far I could take it. Now, it's funny because, like I said, I sound like a 21-year-old saying it, but I want to, you know what I mean? I love just putting out albums. And I try to explain this to people. When I was a kid, I'd buy CDs and You gotta have my little CD rack and your spinning CD things, and you got the case. You open it up. It's a whole presentation,
Oh yeah.
and I became hooked on making music officially when I got my first box of CDs from disc makers. And I remember I the cover and I opened it and there was no mistakes. And I knew, I said, as soon as I put this album in, something's gonna be wrong. Like I'm gonna have to send it back. And it digitally showed up. And I was like, damn, I got an album just like the Beatles have Abbey Road, or Pink Floyd has Dark Side of the Moon, or Tupac has all I there's a now I'm not selling like them obviously, but
I got Abbey Road hanging in my classroom.
yeah, and it so ever since then I hate to sound like a cornball, but each project is like my baby. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know when I'll ever tire of that. So
What what are 3 works of yours like we should check out that you could suggest? Like somebody that hasn't heard your music, what are like songs? Maybe 3 songs or a song in 2 projects, like,
right.
because you've done so many albums, and sometimes it's that one song on that project, you'd be like, damn, I wish everybody heard this song on here, or this
Mhm.
feature here. What are 3 works for anybody that's just meeting or hearing Real Deal's music?
I would say probably the most powerful song I've ever written is
Mm.
called "No Mercy, Justice for Charlie," and it's 7.5 minutes, and it explains exactly what happened to my father. I had my man made the beat from scratch for me. Afterwards, Tara Lane does the hook. We did a visual to it. It's sad, you know what I'm saying? It's a sad
Yeah.
song, but it is easily, I would say, the most powerful song uh that I've ever put together. That's a good question. Trying to think of some other ones that I have a lot of some good storytelling joints, some good conceptual ones. But I probably, man, that's a good question, bro. Uh, that's that one for sure.
Hmm.
And I feel like my last couple, I got a song called MO, which is short for Mount Oliver, which is where I grew up out in Pittsburgh. And the other dude who does the hook is incredible. His name's MJ Ultra, and he's also from Mount Oliver. And I think that song encapsulates who I am as both a person and rapper. I like to drink, have a good time, you know what I mean, be funny, cut up. So that one's a good one for sure for me. Um yeah, I'm gonna think of one. I'm gonna think of another one and definitely get back to you on it. Like I said, I like I like my music a lot. I mean, who doesn't, right? So
Hmm.
it's hard to just pick. But I will say this,
Hmm.
and I always tell people this. Uh, you know, I have one song that, I have some songs with some streams, and I got one that's got like 1.5 million or whatever. And I always tell people like, just make sure your ASCAP or BMI is straight, because I didn't even
Yeah.
know I was getting these checks from CD Baby. Not a lot, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't a
Yeah. Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but my man had to tell. I didn't even have Spotify at the time. He said, "Bro, you have a song with like 800,000, and it's crazy words. I never pushed this song. I never did it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
low key, the song has a blatant sample that's uncleared. Like, I never even thought about it. It's on my 2010 record, and I've been getting paid off this single song for 15, 16 years, man. So like, now when I do shows, I almost like gotta do the song.
Right.
It's nutty. I don't know if you like. I know you got some streams on this. So I don't know if something similar happened to you before, where you like, damn, I don't know if somebody from another
Yeah.
country picked it up or something.
Yeah. It'll be. I just got my BMI yesterday, and I was looking at the songs on there, and I'm like,
Mm,
okay, these are the ones. So I check the BMI, and that's kind of how I go at it. But you definitely will get like surprised because you'll find out this is working in that country.
mm,
And then I remember watching Nori on Drink Champ said that's how he's mapping his tours.
wow,
He's
wow,
looking at the streams and
yeah, oh yeah,
what cities, and then he's mapping towards that way.
mm,
Um, I want to, before we get out of here, elaborate on Justice for Charlie. Rest in peace to your dad.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I, you know, I had
I
to
gotta
do
send you a
research.
shirt too, big dog. I'm gonna send you one when we get off. Send me an Addy. I'm gonna ship one
Oh
out to
yeah,
you, man.
thank you, man. And
For sure.
I had to do the research on it more and more. I would see people, even in the battle raps, despite how much people would be going against each other, they would still share praise to your dad, even in their round. You know, they would, you know, whatever the bars, a couple of bars that whatever bars they had, they were willing to, um, you know, put their bars up for that. So can you elaborate on you know, the cause and everything behind it? Um, let us know, you know, a little bit more about it so that people can, you know, support the cause. Yep. I don't know if you still heard me. Did you hear me? Just getting the sound back and everything. So he'll be back on there. Yeah, so I want him more to elaborate on it. I know it's about malpractice, you know, with his dad. And the great thing about it, as far as seeing other artists, um, you know, in their rounds, people in their artists in their rounds are still, you know, yeah, you got me?
I'm back. My bad. My son called. I hit ignore. He's fine. But as soon as it did that, it like my bad, bro.
It's all good, man. I was just letting people know. I know you was gonna come back on, but I was letting them know like it's great seeing people even in their rounds willing to share some bars in support of the movement. Can you elaborate on it?
Yeah, bro. First of all, I gotta say, I'm, bro. The what's the simplest way to say it? I never dreamed I would be going up against the hospitals, like I didn't, bro. Medical malpractice to me was just something I had heard. The same way I've heard people say grand larceny. If you ask me to like describe it, or I'm like, I don't know, I've just heard, I know it's illegal, whatever. So
Yeah,
basically, my father, you know, was ultimately they did a procedure that was unnecessary, and from this procedure, now when I say unnecessary, I know there's going to be pushback. Like, well, you're not a doctor. Like they literally 2 weeks before said he was cool. He didn't need this
yeah.
thing. They did it to like, oh, I just want to check some things out. Within 24 hours, he had a terrible infection, uh, and it ended up killing him after a month. And I mean, it's
Mm,
just very layered. It's just a
I
lot,
got you
but
saying.
certainly a victim of medical malpractice. He ended up paying $614,000 for his insurance. Well, my dad was probably making $12,000 a year. My dad was very
Mm,
poor. I mean, he's retired, but like he never had a career, so it wasn't. And it's one of those things, bro. When you start to peel back the layers, you're just like, oh my god. So I had a long fight to try to find out or try to pursue medical malpractice. And again, you just peel back these layers. You're like, wait, they do that too? Wait, they can do that? Wait, they're a lot. And basically, the medical system is operating without consequence.
yeah,
Yeah. And so, my goal is not to bash doctors or
I know
nurses
what you
or
mean.
but there are greater, I don't say greater, there are powers that be that certainly the gain for them is financial, and they don't value your uncle, your dad, your loved one. And again, I feel like my dad was somebody that they messed up with this procedure, and
Yeah.
then and they operate like a well-oiled machine, bro. So the hospital I went against is UPMC, which is a juggernaut out here. And so I've started to I want to change some statutes. I want to
Mm,
start off in Pennsylvania, and then I want to, move across the U.S. because there are studies that say medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death, and nobody's talking about it. And I've been so fortunate, bro, to have so much support from battle rap first and foremost. I mean, people when they wear
yeah,
it in a battle, I'm like, bro, all the shit you got in your head that day, and you actually thought like Twerk wore a Charlie shirt against me. I'm like, bro,
yeah,
that's thank you, bro. You know what I mean? Like you don't, and so it means the world to me. And I've been able to have people like Nate Burleson wore it. you know, Gerald McCoy, Hardy Nickerson, like Bubba Sparks, you know, all these people showing love and support.
Yeah.
It's huge, bro. It means the world, and it really shows that you can make a difference from. And so it inspires me to keep, you know, email senators weekly and get a hold of people. And yeah, man, I have a petition with over 10,000 signatures, and I just had a video blow up on TikTok again, and my inbox flooded with people, their stories. My grandma went in for this, and you know that
Yeah.
reminds me of my uncle, my dad, and so we just got to keep sharing our stories about it, bro. And you know, but yeah, man, it's truly been, it's given me a new purpose, although very a sad
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Given me, and I always say, man, I'm like this logo is my dad's gonna be like the Jerry West for medical malpractice, bro. You know, my
Yeah.
niece did the logo, who's, you know, and my sister's daughter, which is his only granddaughter. So yeah, bro, it's something I wear every battle. I wear a Charlie shirt, Charlie hoodie, Charlie beanie, whatever I got. And yeah, man, it's giving
Is there a
me.
place that I guess they can order the shirts and the
There is.
hats, everything?
Yep. So my website is realdealraps.com. But if you prefer to just reach out to me on any platform, you know, I could do the Cash App Venmo thing. I'll ship anywhere. Um, yeah, bro. And like I said, there's a petition that's free. Like, so if even if you're like, oh, I don't want to grab whatever, but yeah, man, it's really remarkable to sit back and see how many people have a similar story, similar situation, and I'm talking nurses, other nurses, like a lot of nurses.
Yeah.
The first one's like, man, that's why I stopped or I left the field, and so yeah, man, I
Yeah.
appreciate this platform you allowing me to expound on it as well, bro.
Oh, I couldn't even do it without allowing you to do that. You know, like gotta talk about this for sure. You know, I know how important it is, you know, for you and for the world and society and so on and so forth. And it's a great cause that everybody should be supporting. Like, you know, send me the link so I can sign a petition.
Oh man,
And you
appreciate you,
know,
bro.
I'll wear the shirt and something. You know, I got videos that I got to do. I got you know, so I could
My
do that.
dog, man, my
So
dog.
I'll definitely wear it. And you know, it's just great to, you know, it's wild, man, because understanding life's important sometimes, you know, and you know, our parents, my pops passed some years ago. My mom is getting up there, so
My
just
condolences
understanding
for your pops, bro.
that thanks, man. Just understand our parents. You know what I mean? Like, yo, real, like
And
understand.
words, here's the crazy thing, bro.
Mm,
They have a formula that determines what your loved one is worth. So my dad, even though he served in the army during Vietnam. Now he wasn't in the Vietnam, but you know, one of the best human beings I've ever met.
mm,
But because he had, you know, he had kidney cancer, he had some lung cancer, and it's like a baseball card with the corner bent.
right.
My dad was only worth $70,000, bro. 70 grand. And they tortured this man.
Mm,
So it's funny you say how much we should, you know, value life. And do they? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? If you put, so it's wild, man. But I want to just, every chance I get this information out there to people, man. I'm not trying to create a boogeyman aspect about the hospital. I don't want you
Nah,
breaking your
not at
leg and
all.
thinking, I don't got to go. I'm not going to the doctor. Like, nah, man. They got the
No.
tools. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, not at all. And you know, I'm sure a lot of us have been in there and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, the doctor's supposed to come in and check on my loved one, check on my cousin, check on my brother, whatever. And you're like, where is this doctor? Like you're waiting for hours and days and it happens, man. You
you
know,
see these
so
stories, bro.
so
Man,
you
some of
you
these
definitely
stories.
it resonates with all of us, me myself as well on some on a level too. But you know, brother, I really want to thank you, you know, for coming on the platform and like, I want to thank you for the music, the battles. Of course, you got the battle. I want to thank you for the music. You know,
My dog,
um,
man. That means the most, bro. That means the most.
everybody go out there. Make sure y'all checking out the statute. You know, Volume 2, UPMCs. You see the covers on it on here right now. You see that cover right there. Make sure y'all check it out. And those that may be listening and driving, make sure you go check it out and support. What's the social media so everybody can find you before you go?
Real Deal Raps is pretty much what I am on across the board, man. It's Real Deal Raps in some form or fashion. You type that in, I should pop up. You know what I mean?
Dope, man.
You should see the Temu version of Paul Wall right here pop up.
Yo, that's comedy, man. Well, yo, thanks again, Real Deal, for being on here. All y'all out there, make sure y'all go check out Real Deal Raps. I have the links in the description for everything he's discussing. And like I always say, what are your words worth? Peace, y'all. Thanks, man. This has been
My
dope.
dog, man. I appreciate